Some people take some medications that destroys the pancreas. This is one of the silent killers.
Is diabetes curable? Persons can actually be slim, and yet they can just come down with diabetes. And that will lead me to my first question. How are you alive till this time? Once again, welcome to Activate 2.0. We are so delighted to have you here again as we delve into the aspect of our health. John 3 was speaking to Gaius, and he said, I wish above all things that we prosper and be in health. And he went further to speak about an aspect and said, even let our soul also prosper. So we thought to ourselves and we said, let Activate 2.0 be all encompassing, so you won't just hear things that pertains to your spirit man alone. You hear things about marriage, hear things about relationship, you hear things about finances, and you hear things about, have I mentioned your health? You hear things about your health and spirituals. So today I have a dear brother and a friend with me here in the studio, and I listened to his TikTok live. I think that was last month, and afterwards, whilst I prepared for this 21 years of Activate, I just thought to myself that he needs to come up. He has so much in him that I feel the world needs to hear it. You need to hear it, and you can be inspired. You can receive knowledge and insight, and it can help you in your day-to-day life, most especially that pertains to your health. So I'd like you to welcome with me to the restream, Nurse Jonathan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you.
Some of us who don't know him, he's a powerful man of God. He likes to be behind the scene, but we have to drag him to the scene itself.
I don't know about that.
All right. So thank you so much for saying yes to this and for wanting to jump on this project with us.
Thank you.
So we'll be talking about the subject of diabetes. And we know that today people live with these things knowingly or unknowingly. I'll tell you a story. I have a friend who he noticed he was not feeling too well per se. I think to him he was okay, but he noticed that he kept on going to the toilet every now and then. And so one of the days when he decided to use the toilet, now this means that he has been visiting the toilet very often than usual, right? So in like an hour or 2 hours, he might have gone to the toilet over 6-7 times. Something happened, and then he decided to call his GP, and the GP invited him over. That's general practice, those of you who might not be conversant with that particular name. So he went over to the GP, and the doctor made a statement and said, how are you alive till this time? So, and when he shared that with me, I got thinking, and that will lead me to my first question. Why is it that diabetes why is it that people find it difficult to know that they are diagnosed with diabetes until when it has affected them before it starts manifesting?
Thank you again for
Thank you, sir.
this opportunity to share with the audience. Right, so let's say common terminology or phrase that is being used, that diabetes is one of the silent killers.
Oh yeah.
It's used alongside hypertension and a couple others like that.
Yeah.
So yes, that's just the way it is. You usually don't know because and that would lead me to explaining the way it actually progresses. So the body is not able to use up the sugar that we get from all the food we eat. So it keeps building up little by little. And at the time when it is at the very minute stage, you won't feel anything, you won't know anything. It then builds up and builds up on the time when it is large enough in volume to begin to cause damage. That's when you begin to see the symptoms. So it's not like when you have headache or when you have malaria,
you can almost treat it almost immediately.
You can see that something is wrong immediately, but this time around it builds up,
accumulate
over time.
So it's the damage side of things that we now see.
We now begin to see, and that's why they call it the chronic illness too, because it takes a long time
for it to manifest. That's not good. So what then is diabetes? Somebody who's watching who's not a medical person, how can we define diabetes to them?
So a very simple way to explain diabetes is it is a situation where there is too much sugar in blood. I use that very simply. I said that very simply because that's the way a layman would understand it. But to further explain that is that the body is actually not using the sugar that we get from all the food we eat, because we need to understand that most of the food we eat ends up as sugar. Most, not all. There are other things that are byproducts, but most of it ends up as sugar or glucose. So the body is not able to use up that sugar, and it stays tossed up in the bloodstream, and that's where we have a condition called diabetes. So
wow. So most people hear that we have type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Do you mind taking time to just explain to us again for our online audience who might not really know what's type 1 or type 2? Yeah, so let's start with type 1. What is type 1 diabetes?
Okay, so to help us understand the different types, I will try to trace the way it progresses, so you would be able to appreciate it when I start talking about the types.
Okay.
So we said body is not able to use up the sugar, and there is too much sugar in the blood. So when we eat and everything digests, put it in your mouth, it goes through the gut and it digests. It then moves into the bloodstream. The final product, which this time around we are focusing on glucose, moves into the bloodstream. When it gets into the bloodstream, it should be taken up by the glucose now in particular should be taken up by insulin. Now, where does this insulin come from? The insulin is coming from the pancreas. Pancreas is also an organ in the body. It's within the abdomen as well. The pancreas, some cells of the pancreas secrete what we call insulin. Insulin is an hormone. That hormone is what should go just around the bloodstream and take up the glucose from the bloodstream, take it to the tissues and to the other organs, the cells,
the muscles, the brain,
and use it for energy.
Yeah.
So that's how you get energetic once you have eaten. Now that's a simple process that occurs every time you eat. But what now happens is when that pancreas, now two things which will now lead me to the different types. When that pancreas is destroyed, now what can destroy it? Primarily the type 1 is a situation where there is a self-destruction. The body is reacting to itself. It's an unfortunate situation, and it's very common in children. It starts to show up in children. There are other ones that has later onset, but that's a very uncommon type. But it's usually common in children. You see type 1 in children from 2, 3, even from 18 months old. You can start saying they have type 1 diabetes. Now, the pancreas is destroying, the cells of the pancreas are destroying themselves, in particular the beta cells of the pancreas. And because they destroy it destroys itself, then there is no insulin produced at all. So remember that keyword, no insulin.
No insulin.
That's for type 1. And in type 2, the pancreas is still doing its job, it's still releasing insulin, but sometimes it's not enough.
So it's not releasing enough
insulin. So, it should go and bind up with the sugar and use it for energy.
Yes.
So imagine that we have 10 insulin. This is just an imagination. That is not exactly how it works. But imagine that we have 10 insulin released to take care of 100.
2,000,
2,000. The gap is.
So it cannot power it.
It cannot power it.
So,
so there's a lot still left unused. That's the sugar is still left in the blood there. Other times, it is not that it is not that case. It is a case of insulin resistance, which means that insulin is there, sugar is there, there is enough insulin produced, there is sugar there. It gets to where it's supposed to bind and do the job, but it's not just connecting. There is resistance, and that is what we call insulin resistance. So you see the insulin resistance and the one of not enough insulin is where we categorize as type 2.
Type 2
The one that there is no insulin at all is
is type 1. So type 1 means that there's no insulin, at all. So absence of insulin is type 1.
Yeah.
And type 2 has two differentials.
Yeah.
Number one is low quantity of insulin being released, or insulin dependence.
Resistance,
Resistance, Wow. Resistance. Amazing. So are there other types of diabetes?
Yeah, so there are other types. So you can also have a situation where when a woman is pregnant, where they can develop diabetes, and usually when they do the test around 24 to 28 weeks and they discover that, so the woman is pregnant, the woman is already pregnant and is now 24 to 28 weeks, they run a routine test and then they discover that the person has diabetes. It's called gestational diabetes.
Gestational diabetes.
Just to mention, there are other types. There is a steroid-induced type, which we generally categorize as secondary diabetes. It is caused from other sources. So some people take some medications that destroys the pancreas. All right, and it also induces
that affects the release of insulin.
So that's steroid-induced.
All right.
I'm not particularly sure if steroids destroy the pancreas, but I'm sure steroids significantly affect the usage or the uptake of insulin. So making the person to look like they have diabetes.
Okay.
Which actually is the case because the insulin is not enough to
release. So to break down the sugar.
There is that. And there are other ones. We have some very uncommon types. The maturity onset diabetes of the young, where you would realize that something that looks like type 2 is appearing in people that are very young. They are very rare. There's also the latent autoimmune diabetes, so the latter. But another one is the one we call type 3C. So the type 3C is a situation where some people have, for example, tumor on their pancreas. And they have to do an operation, and maybe they have to take off the pancreas. So those ones develop type, or they have pancreatitis or pancreatic cancer and all that. There is a new one that has recently been confirmed by the International Diabetes Federation and WHO. It's the type 5 that has something to do with malnutrition. And but there's a lot of studies coming up on that. So these are like the major types.
So let's talk about
type 1 and 2
is the one that people know very well,
and we need to focus more on.
So let's talk about this gestational. Right. There is this because I'm married and I've got 2 kids. So there is this thing that happens with women when they are pregnant. They necessarily might not occur with every woman anyway. So there's this, hunger or craving. That's the best word. Now, are those cravings the reason why some women get into gestational diabetes?
No.
Good, no. All right. And number 2 is there a likely chance that the effects of the diabetes found in the pregnant woman at 28 weeks thereabout, is there a likely chance that can be transferred to the baby in the mother's womb?
So when a woman has diabetes in pregnancy, which is gestational diabetes, the woman is at risk of type 2, becomes at risk of developing type 2 diabetes later in the future. And also the child also is at risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
In mother's womb now, or when the baby is out?
When the baby is out.
Right.
In the future.
In the future, so not even immediate.
So it's a risk. It's a risk. It's a risk factor.
Okay.
Not necessarily like the person will develop it, but the way it happens is they've done studies and they discovered that these people that have had type 2 diabetes, they had their parent or their mom once had type 2 gestational diabetes in pregnancy. So there's a link, but it does not equal that everybody who has gestational diabetes will come down with type 2 diabetes. No, but there's a possibility that it could happen.
So if a woman is diagnosed with gestational diabetes, for example, and she then has or have a baby, is there a chance that after the delivery, the gestational diabetes should leave her?
It should. The expectation, the hope, and the prayer is that it should go away.
What are the chances? 60 to 100, 80 to 100, 100 to 100.
Honestly, most people it resolves.
So they come out of it.
It's similar to what we call pre-eclampsia in hypertension.
Yeah, pre-eclampsia.
Yeah. So because the pregnancy, when a woman becomes pregnant, hormones and everything are released. So once those hormones weighs off after the pregnancy, everything comes back to normal.
So I see little children these days who put on something like an insulin jab on their hands, on their lap. What exactly is the cause of that? Because you mentioned something that had to do with matured, where children who are already exhibiting type 2 diabetes or something like that.
Okay, so to explain that clearly, when most of those people who have these sensors, those sensors are supposed to be for continuous glucose monitoring.
Okay.
And it can be for type 2 as well, but usually in type 1. Okay. In the UK here, once anyone has type 1 diabetes, you are given that sensor. Okay. And the reason is because when we explain that type 1 diabetes, you need to continuously get insulin externally, because your body is not able to produce that insulin any longer. So, and for you to give yourself insulin, you need to know the level of sugar that is in the body. So we give them that stuff
so they can monitor it, and they don't go and give insulin that crashes their sugar.
Goes too bad.
Right.
There are a lot of technologies around that, to be honest. There is what we call artificial pancreas, where that sensor is also connected to a pump. Where as it reads it's automatically giving the individual insulin. There's also that technology. So you can see that
like a slow release kind of thing.
It depends. So it's configured. The way the pattern of the body, the pattern that the body does with insulin is there's a basal, there is the bolus. So for everybody, that's a usual pattern. Okay. Meaning that there is a long-acting one. The body releases one that goes through all the day, 24 hours. Then after every meal, the body also releases something. So that's why immediately after you eat, some insulin is released to bring that down. That's naturally. So that's what the machine and everything that is being given to them, that's insulin pump, is mimicking. They are trying to mimic that, so that it will sort of simulate what's
going on in the body.
And that's common in type 1. And most times you see that type 1 beginning from children. It can even start from adolescence and teenage, but it usually starts as childhood.
So what are the signs to show that a person is suffering? I don't know if that's the best word. A person is currently living with diabetes. Aside from them going for screening, what are the basic ways they would know?
So we need to explain it based on the type. So for type 1, there is really no... So type 1 is diagnosed by clinical signs, at least for now. Although there are newer studies, Diabetes UK there's a lot of study and funding going into being able to use artificial intelligence to predict whether somebody is going to have type 1. But that's something to come. At the moment, what we have is that once they spot any sign, which I'll be explaining, then they diagnose the person. Then they do the tests, and then they diagnose the person. For type 2, once the person is up to a certain age and all that, then you can. So I don't want to get it complicated. So let me start with type 1. Generally, now explaining the signs and symptoms. Generally, when the bloodstream is filled up with sugar, right, the body wants to get rid of it because it's not supposed to be there. And what gets rid of that excess sugar in the body is the kidneys. The kidneys filter the blood.
Let it go into as urine.
So remember, there's too much sugar in the blood. It goes through the kidney, and the kidney, in trying to filter the blood, takes off all the sugar. It's not necessary, so it's excreting it, and that's when the person is urinating. And sometimes they say there is sugar in the urine. Right? That's possible. Before now, it's no longer recommended. They test for urine in the sugar
Yeah,
in the urine.
urinalysis.
You know, but it's not something we generally do again. It's not standard practice.
Oh,
Then,
really?
Yeah, it's no longer standard practice.
Is it that it doesn't really tell us?
Yeah, it doesn't tell, because again, it shows that it's for somebody to be showing up on urinalysis means something has gone
How
really bad.
happened? All right.
It's not safe.
So looking for something that's at the slightest
as quick
triggers,
as possible.
Yeah, it can pick it up. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that excretion is happening. That's what is happening first. Then, so the person, because a lot of urine is going out, the person is passing a lot of urine. Remember, when you're losing a lot of water, you begin to feel thirsty.
That's right.
So the person is taking a lot of water as well. So he's drinking in a lot, he's getting out a lot. He's drinking a lot, he's getting out a lot. Also remember, so those two terminologies is what we call as polyuria, urinating a lot, polydipsia, excessive thirst. Then there's also polyphagia. So polyphagia is a lot of eating. And that is because the glucose is supposed to be doing a particular job of providing you energy. But the glucose is not stored up in the blood, not doing
because it's not working.
It's not there. And the energy is what you need to
act, to work, to
so
do
you'll
what
be
you need to
feeling hunger,
and weak.
Thinking that you have just eaten,
there's no energy.
There's no energy because the glucose is not going to the right place to do the job. And that also makes some people experience weight loss because the muscles are not getting there. They're also losing. Sometimes people experience weight loss. Then to further explain that, because the kidney is also excreting a lot of sugar in the urine, the sugar is known to be a very good fertile ground for bacteria to grow.
Yes.
So that makes some people develop urinary tract infection in their liver. So they begin to have all that symptoms showing. And then the final one is a situation where most times in the extremities, around the fingers or the toes, the heels, and majorly the extremities, because the molecules of sugar begins to block the tubes that carry the blood is very narrow, not very big. They are just of a certain millimeter and size.
Diameter,
So it begins to block it and restrict the flow. And when it begins to restrict the flow of blood that way, then what happens is the extremities are not getting enough. They are not well perfused. So all the things that needs to reach the extremities when you have an injury to act on it and make it heal is not reaching it. And also because of the too much sugar, those agents are not working to help wounds to heal any longer. So all of this results to a situation where somebody has a wound and it's not healing. So that's also one thing that we see in people that have that don't know they have diabetes, but something is already.
So these are pointers.
They are very
pointers. Wow! Just before you continue, for those of us who are watching right now, I believe this is enlightening enough for us to show that, number one, when you constantly pass urine, and then that leads to thirst, you might as well just go and do a check. It could be that there's a trace of diabetes. And that will also require that you are still weak because the kidney is passing out loads of urine, and you are asking yourself that I've just eaten, I shouldn't be weak like this. What's happening is that your insulin is not released, or your pancreas is not releasing insulin to help break down the glucose that you have. So it's pushing into the kidney, and kidney is willing to just pass everything away. So it's a good pointer for somebody to go and
weight
loss. Wow.
A very easy way to know you are losing weight is the clothes that you're wearing before it's no longer sizing. You don't need to go to a scale. Just check yourself. This clothes is no longer sizing. Something is wrong.
So weight loss is actually a sign that somebody could be a person could be diabetic.
It could be, and it's very interesting because weight gain is also another thing that
because most times the idea I had is that once somebody is chubby and is fat, there is a likely chance that the person could be diabetic. But I never know that
weight loss. So we need to explain it and put it in the proper context. So all of what I've described is what happens fundamentally with diabetes. Now, in type 1, you most likely see weight loss.
Okay.
That's where most of what I've described now happens even with type 1, because that's what we even notice to make a diagnosis in type 1. There are tests, antibody tests that we can do, because in type 1, what is happening is that the body is eating up itself. There's the cells that in the body that are eating up itself in the pancreas. So there are some antibodies that will be released. They will check and they will see the level of antibodies high, and they will know that, oh, that's probably type 1. But most times they don't just go and do that check. They will see that sign and that will prompt the check. All of what I've described is what usually leads to that check in type 1. For type 2, it's a different ball game. You know, we explained that in type 2 there is resistance and there is insulin, but it's not enough. So in that case, there is something causing that whole scenario to play out that way, and those are the things we call risk factors. So the risk factors, there is no particular cause. It's not just one thing, and that's why it's also good to mention this, that because somebody is big and have diabetes does not mean that the other lean person cannot have diabetes.
Have diabetes,
especially type 2 diabetes now. No, so there are risk factors. One person's risk might be different from the other.
Another person.
Yeah. And the risk factors are grouped into two. So we have the modifiable risk factors and the non-modifiable risk factors. See, the non-modifiable, they are the ones you can't do anything about. That's your age, your genetics, and your hereditary family history. Your age, once you are getting to 35 to 40, it is believed that in layman term, the pancreas is already working and has worked a lot. So sometimes you are beginning to experience some level of insulin.
Is that the same age regulation for both male and female?
Honestly, I can't say exactly what it is now, but generally from 35 adults, generally.
God,
but again, it does. When I say these things, there are probabilities.
Yeah,
that there's a chance.
Like markers.
Yeah, it may not necessarily mean. I mean, there are people who are up to 70, 80 that their pancreas is working fine. 80, 90, they never develop diabetes.
Yes.
But there are theories around the fact that by the time we are all getting to that stage, with the generation around, most people will
eating chocolate and all those things like me.
What's that? So that's for type 2 diabetes. So there's the modifiable risk factors and the non-modifiable risk factors. So the modifiable ones, now I've talked about the non-modifiable, your age, your family history. Family history being that if you have a family member who has ever lived with diabetes before, or is currently living with diabetes, there is every chance that you also inherited a gene that would cause you to develop diabetes. But on the other hand, which is the modifiable ones, which they are generally for, there is the health eating habits or eating pattern, which in particular is unhealthy eating, and that speaks to processed food, a lot of processed food, too much of carbohydrates basically, and because it's just sensible, when you take too much of it, there's not enough. You are putting a lot of work on your insulin.
Yeah.
And too much of sugary drinks, all those things. That's where those ones come in. They are only risk factors. It does not equal that. That's why you see somebody is drinking Coke all their life. Well, I'm sorry to mention that, but somebody is drinking a particular soft drink all their life, and they never develop it. But some other people do it, and
a couple of years they already suffering from it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those are unhealthy eating is one. The next is tobacco smoking, because that particularly causes insulin resistance. Alcohol, excessive alcohol as well. Prolonged exposure to excessive alcohol is one thing. Then another major thing I was going to mention is there's one more on. There's tobacco, there's unhealthy eating, there's alcohol, and I skipped my mind just now.
Could that be lack of exercise or something?
Exercise, physical exercise is another major thing. Thank you for bringing it back.
Yeah.
So those are the major ones we have. Alcohol intake, tobacco smoking, overweight. So exercise is now linking to
overweight.
Yeah, and particularly exercise and overweight has much to do with the insulin resistance thing we described. The situation whereby the body is not able to it's not sensitive to the insulin that is being produced. So those are the ones we can address. For each of these, there is something we can do about it, and those are the ones that you hear people say, "Oh, I have diabetes before; it's now gone." Yeah, because maybe these are the things contributing to it, and when they address one of them or two of them,
it goes.
Fine. Yeah,
wow.
So they go into what we call remission. So somebody might have been overweight before, and then the person works hard, reduces his weight, and the blood sugar just comes down to normal, and the person is back to normal.
What's happening.
Yeah, it's because what actually contributed to that diabetes has been the being overweight, and the person has gone into what we call remission. We just I must say this, standard practice, if somebody has ever been diagnosed of diabetes, we don't say the person is cured, because even if the person gets into remission, it is remission. The person may not need the medication, may not need anything, but it is still time that's remission because it could still recall. So
I was gonna say that, and that brings me to another question I was gonna ask.
That is diabetes curable?
So again, yeah, it's not.
There's
a lot of work to. There's a lot of work
going on. For now, yeah, I know there's research being done.
I'm very, very optimistic that a cure will happen.
A cure will happen. So.
Even for type 1, even for type 2. Yeah.
I'm just shocked that some persons can actually be slim, and yet they can just come down with diabetes.
Yeah, because like we said, there are a lot of things
factors that will affect that. Wow. Somebody is fast, it says diabetes. Somebody is slim, it says diabetes. Wow.
It's just to be very aware, of the different sides to it. I don't think, and that's why it's important we put this out so that people stop attributing it to, oh, you are eating too much, or you're overweight.
Yeah, because there's some persons that they don't eat too much.
That's not the problem. If, for example, weight gain is not primarily about what
eating,
it's about your genetics.
Yes. I remember they were telling me, I have bad hair. Oh my God, I don't know how I got there.
It's
genetics, yeah. Because my uncles, they are all bald, so they just. I don't know how my gene decided to take that one. He did not take their money.
I wish.
I'm telling you. Oh dear. So thank you so much for this wonderful time. If you are connecting and you are watching this right now, this is for you to be aware that there are several chances that a person could be living with diabetes. And I don't think it's advisable that we wait until when we begin to see the symptoms. I think it's best for us to, just go and do a random checkup and then do a full checkup and just to ensure a screening, just to ensure that we are not suffering from this thing. Because whilst research are going on, it's best that we keep ourselves healthy and safe. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you just want to say in the passing before we begin to round up?
Yeah, I just want to re-echo what you said, honestly. In my 5+ years of practice, and I've always loved to practice in the space of diabetes care. Even from being a student, I've always focused on diabetes care. And what has really caught my attention is how a lot of people develop diabetes at their prime. It's sad because many people, and the situation is different for people in the developed West here versus people in the developing nations like Nigeria and different African countries. If you're in a part of the world like this, there's structures that keeps you in check, and so you're more likely going to be picked. But if you're in another part of the world where nobody cares, you go into the hospital yourself, you take your health decision on your own. It's not a responsibility of the government to remind you. In that case, you need to be much more responsible with it. And why I say that is most times, because prolonged hyperglycemia, meaning that prolonged blood sugar, high blood sugar, has a lot of complications that comes with it. So what usually happens is, with time, even if you don't get checked and you think, oh, I'm all right, I'm not showing any sign, at least I don't have any sign. If you don't get checked, if it keeps building up, by the time you will be noticing, you're probably having a complication
already.
And that is the problem. And most times the complications are very terrible. Like you're talking about people having their limbs cut off, people going as bad as having heart failure, people going as bad as having stroke, terrible things. So
some UTIs and
UTIs even it's like the baby side of it. Because when you look at the complications, you're talking about the macrovascular, the microvascular. The macro ones are the ones that have to do with the heart, kidney, and this brain, the stroke issues. So bottom line is everybody should just try and I don't even at this point where I'm not even preaching that people should not have diabetes. I'm more concerned about people not developing complications because that's where the problem is actually.
Yes.
Because we need to understand also. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm taking.
No, go ahead, sir.
So some people think that type 1, if you have type 2 diabetes, you can move to type 1. No.
Okay.
So type 1 is different
on its own. Thank God you explained it, because there are several meanings as to why they place them in types.
Yeah, it's different. Right. And the reason why people think that way is you can have type 2, and at some level they will say just adjust your diet. Later they will just give you one tablet, maybe metformin, and say you can't be taking that one. Or over a time they will have 2 or 3 tablets. Worst case scenario, they will now say start taking insulin internally and externally. But for type 1, they will usually just start with insulin straight. So some people think that once you get to insulin in type 2,
they feel it's type 1.
Yeah, already going to
and
type
according
1,
to the number, maybe from type 2 to 1 to 0.
No, so it's not that.
It's not like that.
But ultimately, we need to just be aware of the fact that people are doing well living with diabetes. I mean, a lot of people are doing very fine living with diabetes, especially when you catch it early, there's no complications yet. And even when there are complications, you can still manage it fine. Family support groups are very good. Find a support group to join for continuous education and not to be carried away by the wrong information around. Because somebody will tell you that you have diabetes. My sister had diabetes. This is what they are giving him.
They're giving bitter cola. What kind of thing has? I would have loved you to touch, the subject of the mind with regards to that, because I know someone that even when they take water, they will tell you that is there sugar in the water? So to me, I feel there is something the mind does, it's just like placebo. Placebo. So if you give somebody a medication that does not have any strength, any power, because they have been aware, it does a healing to them. So while people are trying to treat this or live amongst this diabetes or whatever, I think they need to also work on their mind.
Yeah, true. Okay. So we need to understand. That's why knowledge is important. So we don't just, for example, people go about and say, I don't want, like you said, I don't want to eat sugar at all. You need sugar.
Yes.
The eating aspect of it is this is where we have the most misconception, and that's because there's a lot of theories here and there about don't eat this, eat that. And I think we mentioned that there is no diabetic diet. There is healthy eating for all. Everybody follows healthy eating.
So what is the eating pattern?
The basic thing is what we use. We use the eating plate and the plate model for eating. You can also Google it and check. So there is a circle of plate, and you half it into 2 first of all. See, the bigger portion of it should contain the vegetables and the fruits, because that's where you get the fiber and all the things that get rid of, help your digestive system, help to lower your blood sugar a lot. The other half, put it into another half, and see a quarter of it, that's a quarter now of the plate, is for carbohydrates.
Now, you've mentioned fruits. Things like orange, things like dates, are they not high in sugar?
So again, I'm always careful talking about these things because I'm not a dietitian. But we need to understand that even for carbohydrates, there are carbohydrate food with high glycemic index and
low glycemic index. That's right.
So, and for somebody who is living with diabetes at this point, they might be more conscious of don't take
what they are taking.
High glycemic, don't take the high glycemic index fruits or meals, and take the low glycemic one. But for everybody, you'll be fine. There's no. It's fruits. It's given. Fruits. In fact, some theory says that for every fruit that is in season is rich in antioxidants that you need for that period of time. So, But for somebody who's living with diabetes, then they might be needing to be monitoring the carb counts, where they'll be counting. Okay, I don't want to go beyond this so that I don't have too much. But for generally, we don't need to. I don't usually advise somebody to begin to worry about this one has sugar, this one has, as long as it's natural. The orange juices, that's not part of it. I'm talking about the one you take. And also remember that the oranges sorry?
Enzymes, there's things that help you,
to break
things down.
And it has a lot of roughages in it. The fiber So even when you take the sugar, there's enough fiber in it.
Fiber that helps it too. Oh, okay, that's a good one.
So we can't just throw everything away and
discount.
But for those who are living with diabetes, they work with their dietitians, they work with their specialist nurses and the specialist doctors
to ensure
they tailor them, they give them a personalized, tailored approach. That one is a different case.
That's a good one. Wow. Have you learned anything today on diabetes? I learned something. Don't think that diabetes type 2 can then jump into type 1 and it will go, because they all have several different things. Thank you so much for those of you who are connected and you've joined us today on the subject of diabetes. I believe you've been blessed and you've acquired knowledge from this podcast. If you've got questions, please do want to pop them on the comment section. We'll pick them up. Uncle Jonathan will just do what to answer them. Or you can as well, maybe you want to book a free consultation appointment with him, then you can go over to our website to www.theanchoredlivesministry.org. Right there you would have a subject where it says appointments, and you can drop in your your request there. It will be picked up. Once it's picked up, it will come to us and we would look out for a scheduled time with yourself. We've come to the end of the podcast today. We believe you've been blessed. We're praying for you and we are hoping that you live in health, live in wellness, and everything will be fine with you. And if by chance you have diabetes, we also know there's a balm in Gilead. As much as you keep the principles that have been put in place by the health professionals, right? Remember, Jesus Christ healed the lepers and he told them, go to the priest, don't confirm yet. If it's Jesus Christ, he would have just said, I've healed you, go home. He took them to the priest. So Jesus Christ knows the laws and principles, things in place. So I beg and my plea is that whilst you have now diagnosed and you're aware that there is this thing, it's essential that we follow the right principles so that we don't cause unnecessary damage for ourselves. I've talked too much when we have our health professional here.
Come on.
I want to say thank you so much once again. And we hope to see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
God bless you. Bye for now.